Hey yo, what is up guys, it's your boy Twa here. The patch notes are live and we're gonna go through them because these two buffs and these two characters are absolutely crazy. So without further ado, let's get into what really matters. So Erze got a buff. Let's go over her S2 skill first, because now you can grant yourself the Eternal Thirst state for 15 seconds. And you will be immune to all damage and CC. 15 seconds? What? Not even Bottle and Shield is that long, man. Luckily, it seems that you can still dispel it, because otherwise in League of Honor this would be crazy. But within your Eternal Thirst state, you will increase your own damage to enemies by 25%. Wait, okay, damage buff. So for a skill that used to be no good whatsoever, this skill seems to be quite interesting for both PvE and PvP. But while into the Eternal Thirst state, you can get yourself a 100% cooldown on the S1. But okay, that's crazy. Upon casting the skill 5 times, the stacks cannot be removed, which means undispellable buffs in PvP. That sounds pretty crazy, especially if you do opt for longer fights. However, in PvE, I cannot find a single thing where this could be useful. However, if you do count this as a role bossing capacity where you could just pop the S2 for 15 seconds when a boss is down and you can still spam the S1, it sounds pretty decent. Whether it will be that good, I'm not quite sure. As for the S3, we get a damage increase and a 75 mana per hit addition. Now this is pretty great if you're looking at the PvP side, knowing that you can put your perks somewhere else. However, they said you can actually double this up by 150 if you do take the S3 Lite. However, while in Eternal Thirst state, increases the duration by 4 seconds. More damage! And this thing used to be 10 seconds, so 14 seconds itself for free? Broke. However, I don't think it will change up in Guild Conquest all that much. But for free, each hit deals additional damage to non-hero targets. We're looking at a new game. We're looking at a new Guild Conquest character, and the chances of her being able to beat her own trials. Now that sounds pretty interesting, especially because you can just super spam your skills too. But then for the S4, increases will be made 100% as the maximum number of stacks and HP has been decreased. Okay. Increasing own attack, HP, and damage to non-hero upon killing an enemy. These effects can be stacked up to 25 times, which used to be 50. So if I read this S4 correctly, at the last part it says Eternal Thirst effect does not apply to soaking blood that activates upon fatal damage, which means for PvP she's still the same to me. However, with a 15-second state that you can simply pop, it seems still really good. As for Erze Dark, which seems pretty interesting, gains 1 stack of sweet blood, increases the attack by 10% of sweet blood. So if you have an undispellable S1 with 5 stacks, you can get yourself 50% attack out of nowhere. Sounds pretty good to me. Is this real PvP? I'm not quite sure. Now for the soul weapon, I don't think this will change up anything on her entire kit. I might be wrong, because I had a person say that it doesn't even hit anywhere in Guild Conquest anyway. So whether they will increase her damage by 1 for 2% Essence of Greed and then lower their stacks, which equals to exactly the same, I'm not quite sure whether this is nasty or not. Each stack of Essence of Greed will double in damage, so that itself seems pretty good. The maximum number of stacks has been increased, blah blah blah. Damage dealt and the maximum stacks is increased instead of 150% to 200. So it seems overall the whole thing is gonna do more damage in a limited amount of time. So I wonder whether this is gonna be either really good or just gonna be exactly the same. As for Talisha, now I've read this and it blew my mind. Let's just get into it. The light and the dark effect of the previous Transcendence perk will be applied to the skill. You get stuff for free upon every use, increases own attack and all defense, okay, and it can be stacked up to a maximum of 10 times. Great. It doesn't, however, say that it is undispellable, so will this be good for PvP? I don't quite know, otherwise she will be really tanky. As for the S4, Appraiser Gem, increasing attack speed by 5, you can get this up to 60 times, but for some non-hero damage up to 60%, that is pretty good. So for all that matters, instead of 30% non-hero damage, you now get 60%. And 300 attack speed out of nowhere. It's pretty decent too. But here's the kicker, they changed up the UT4 as well, which means 72% non-hero damage. Ew, so she will be both tanky and really good for Eclipse, and she already was really good. 72% damage for free. As for hers 3, the HP recovery effect will be applied to all allies, but the heal rate is reduced by 50%. Sounds pretty good to me. Because at that point she seems very valuable for your Galgoria. So for that reason she seems pretty good for your TM raids, especially if you do amp her up. As the S3 Dark, up on use increasing own damage delta bosses by 2%. Can be stacked up to what? So on top of the non-hero damage we get bossing damage? This should be illegal. As for the unique weapon, if the target is a boss, increases all damage by 12%. The all damage is irremovable. Great. So this hasn't been a change. However, the all damage boost that is irremovable seems quite interesting. I just wonder where it really adds to, because it seems quite the same, but will it then work to a character that should be immune to it? I'm not quite sure, because the effect shouldn't apply itself. So I'm not sure what the change really is gonna be. As for her soul weapon, critical damage by 100% for 20 seconds. This used to be 12. Increasing all damage that the hit target takes by 35% for 15 seconds. Okay, so the whole thing lasts for 20 seconds, and then if you do something afterward, you deal a lot of damage too. If the target is a boss, deals additional damage that ignores defense. Great. Free. So increases damage by 60% and reduces the cooldown by, okay, but now even bigger. Every 1 second reduces the self cooldown by 1 second for the duration. What? Now here's what the funny part is. It has a 18-second cooldown. It has only 6 charges, which you can simply pop by just doing all of your skills. If you get yourself cooldown reduction on top of it, she could be nearly permanent into her soul weapon right now. I'm not ready for this. So to sum it all up, she will get an AoE heal to every other character, which will be really good for TM raids. She will get another additional non-hero damage, as well as her soul weapon seems pretty crazy for now. But one of the biggest questions that I had was, is she going to be better than Celine for Eclipse? With this, I cannot really say so. Her damage seems to be going up by just a little bit because of the non-hero damage and the bossing damage increase. So that will be 12% non-hero damage and 20% bossing damage. She has already reached about wave 70-ish, if not higher. So I'm very curious, to all you Talisha players out there, how you are going to perform. Next up will be the sub-story of Roi. We will be checking this out the moment the patch hits on some stream. I don't know what I should be looking at, but will this be an introduction to season 2? I really hope so. I need to see some more of that Dominic's. I really want to know what that character is all about. So he's back to the laughing mask, ladies and gentlemen. This is looking fire. I'm not a Roi player myself, but yo, I'm excited for this stuff. And there will be another lab challenge event, and this will break everybody's RNG wallet. So without even going to how it works, you can get yourself event artifact pieces up to 4 times and a soul weapon advancement too. But it doesn't come for free, ladies and gentlemen. There's a kicker to it. So how does this event work? You basically do daily missions. From the daily missions, you'll get these tokens. From these tokens, you can end up buying these weapons, but there's a maximum of 20, which means that if you break them, they will be turned to dust, and the dust can be then used once again to try and 100% enhance the weapons itself. So basically there's no breaking bonus up to a 9, but then if you go to 10, there's a 75% breaking chance, which means it is very likely that everything is going up in smokes. Knowing that the amount of items that you need are 72.9k, and what you get for breaking them is 7.290k. So in terms of getting yourself that A2, it sounds like a lottery ticket to me. I'm not a number cruncher whatsoever. I have been telling you guys that before. But let me know if there's anybody that can actually calculate the odds on these things. I am mad curious whether there is a way for you to get it 100% at least up to plus 13 or plus 14, because I'd like to have myself another event artifact ticket. That being said, the League of Honor preseason will open at the 18th of July, just a few days before my birthday, and hopefully for my birthday they will tell me that Chase is gonna receive a League of Honor skin. But I've been asking this for ages and I probably am not getting jack, so this will be interesting. So sadly, there's not much to talk about in this patch. I really wonder how Erze is going to perform in Gale Conquest, where she is meant to be used, and if she can do her own trials afterward. Can Talisha really blow Celine out of the water when it comes to Eclipse? And can these characters be used for PvP at any means? I know a few people who are willing to find this out, and if I do have some information on that, I will be showing that on this channel. So if you haven't already, make sure to like and sub, and I'll see you guys in the next one.